Hi, this is Jim Bond with the 12th episode in a series I'm doing on lessons my caregiver wife and I have learned in our 30 years in dealing with multiple myeloma. Today's session is on second opinions. And we've gotten second opinions when we needed to be more comfortable with the big decision that we were about to make. And it really began when I was diagnosed. And my diagnosing doctor I asked him the question, if you were in my shoes, would you have you treat me or another hematologist oncologist? And he recommended one who competed with his hospital, and the more experienced myeloma doctor was at a different hospital, and that really impressed me. So I did that. I went to University Hospitals of Cleveland and was thankful for asking that question. Once we got started, we met the treating doctor. We sent a fax to 5 or so leading myeloma specialists around the country that had written articles about myeloma. And we asked them in a very simple one-paragraph fax. There were no email back then. We told them who we were being treated by, and if they were in my shoes, I asked, what would you do? And they assured us we were in a good place. The Cleveland, Ohio had 2 fine medical centers, cancer centers, and we were in good hands. That gave us confidence. So the first formal second opinion I got was after my first stem cell transplant stopped working after 5 years that it was very successful. And I was lobbying the transplant doctor to do a second one, and he hesitated because he didn't feel I could harvest enough stem cells because he had given me full body radiation as part of the first transplant. It was a clinical trial. And so I pushed him, and he finally said, if you're willing to go with your wife up to Minnesota, the Mayo Clinic, and get their opinion, see what they say, then that'll influence me. So we did, and the fine doctor at the Mayo Clinic said he thought it would work, and with that I did my second transplant back in Cleveland. Now after that second transplant stopped working, we had another big decision. We had learned at the Mayo Clinic of an experimental drug that was showing promising results for sick myeloma patients like I was at the time. And so we were between trying to find an opening somewhere for that trial or getting my first allo transplant from my matching sister, which University Hospitals was comfortable doing. And so we sought a second opinion and got that up at Mass General in Boston from a fine myeloma transplant doctor up there. So that gave us comfort. We made the decision, and after many years, I developed leukemia. And since it was treatment-related leukemia, the only way I could stay alive was to get another transplant. And the big decision there was a few months before getting the leukemia. What I had was called MDS, or myelodysplasia syndrome, which my local team thought would lead to myeloma, and that I should treat it as myeloma right then. And we were uncomfortable with the word it may or may not turn into leukemia. So we sought an out-of-town second opinion on that, this one being at Dana-Farber with their leukemia expert. And that decision was crucial because we decided to wait and watch. And by the time the leukemia turned into cancer, events had occurred that actually enabled the transplant to happen. That wouldn't have been true had I gone right into a transplant. So those are my comments on on second opinions. One more thing, staying in touch with the second opinion doctors has been something that has been very valuable, and I've done, because getting their comments as my case gets more and more unique with more and more years piling up. It's always good to get their opinions. So there's more in my book, and you can get my profits from my book go to cancer charities. You can get my book by searching my name, Bond, the word book, and the word myeloma. The title of the book is Man in the Arena, Surviving Multiple Myeloma Since 1992. Thank you. See you next episode.